Happy holidays everyone! This is the last video from uni before Christmas as I am going home tomorrow morning and I'm going to see my cats and also my family. I am very excited. But this time of year can be very difficult, especially if you have low mood or you have a difficult relationship with your family and you have to go home and see them. That's not me, that's not what I'm saying, but that is the case for a lot of people. I just want to say that if that is you, then I am 100% here to help if you want me to, and you can just come and talk to me on Twitter or whatever. I'll leave the links down below as usual. Sort of related to that topic, I want to talk this week about getting yourself out of a rut, specifically when your mood has been quite low for no specific reason and you just want to sort of nip it in the bud before it gets to a more serious stage. I've been quite open about the fact that my mood is relatively low, especially at the moment, and basically for the last year on and off it's been quite bad. It's really difficult when you're not sad for a particular reason because you don't really have anything you can do about it specifically, and you kind of just want to wallow in self-pity because feeling bad feels good. My mood specifically is a lot worse during winter, and that's not something I can change. I can't control the weather, I can't make it much nicer outside. So in that respect, I've been feeling very hopeless about what I can do, and I've been talking to my mentor, Steph, about it, and she suggested that when I am in these low points, I make a list of things that help and I focus that negative energy on productivity. And therefore, when I've been feeling low, I've been thinking about things which do help, and I've compiled? Is that a word? I've made a list. I've made a list of things which help me, and I'm going to share that with you today. The first thing I'm sure you'll be glad to hear is to rest. Now, when I feel low, all I want to do is sleep until my problems go away, which is not a good thing to do, but when your energy is completely drained, it is okay to give yourself permission to just rest. Have some time off, relax, have a nap if you need to. It's definitely difficult to balance giving yourself a rest and letting yourself get into bad habits, and that's something I personally struggle with, but sometimes you do just need to give yourself time to recuperate, and then you can fight this bad mood with all your energy. The second thing on my list is to document things, whether that be in your diary or on a scrap of paper that you're just going to throw in the bin. Some people use their private Twitter accounts, although the thing with that is you kind of do censor yourself a bit because you know other people are going to be reading it. So for me at least, I prefer to write it in a diary, just let everything out, all my bad feelings, why I'm feeling them, everything, and then it's like it's out of my body, I don't have to think about it anymore and I can move on from it. On the flip side to that, I also keep a happy book, which every day supposedly, although it's more like once a month, I write a list of every good thing that's happened in the day, whether that be something like getting a good grade on my coursework or seeing a dog whilst walking to uni. Literally anything good. It puts me in a much more positive mindset, and I can flip back through all the pages and see all the good things in my life, because there are a lot of them and sometimes I do just forget that. The next thing is to give yourself a tidy space, especially if you're at uni and just living in one room like I am now. It can get very messy very quickly. My mum has this phrase, tidy room, tidy mind. It is so true. If you've got a clean space around you, you just instantly feel so much better mentally. So if you are in a bad stage, then maybe set aside 15 or 20 minutes to just sort of blitz your room, chuck out all the rubbish, organise things into piles, and then put those piles away. The process of actually cleaning and tidying feels like you're literally removing the bad things from your life, and then afterwards you've got a lovely clutter-free space where your brain has a lot more room to think. Step 4 is to go outside, and I cannot stress enough how much this helps me. Just give myself some time to think about life while also just getting some endorphins in my brain. One thing that I love to do when I'm walking is to look for Instagram opportunities. I just love looking out for pretty things just while I'm out and about, because Instagram is my hobby, I am not ashamed to say, and I am aware that that does sound kind of sad, but hear me out on this one. Being constantly on the lookout for photo opportunities and always looking for pretty things and nice things that are happening in the world makes me happy. It puts me in the mindset that there are nice things in the world and there are things happening in the world outside of my little bubble, and those things are beautiful. So if walking around a park with no particular aim doesn't really appeal to you, then maybe you can incorporate the Instagram opportunities into that as well. I either walk or cycle to uni, so that means every day I have to be out and about and on my feet doing something for at least 45 minutes. As long as I go to uni, there's always a guarantee that I am getting some fresh air and getting out of the house and doing something other than sitting and watching Netflix or studying. This leads nicely on to my next point, which is to keep busy and to keep in a routine. For the last month or so, I have not been going to many lectures. Every time I skip a lecture, I don't have the motivation to catch up on the notes, so the next time I have to go to that lecture, I don't bother going because I'm already behind, so what's the point? I'll just stay home and write up the notes, except I don't, and then the cycle just continues endlessly forever. For the last week or so, it's been getting to a point where I could fall behind seriously and not be able to catch up. I've forced myself to start going in. Not been going in every day, definitely not to every lecture, but it's getting better, and with that my mood is getting better. Just having a routine, no matter what that be, is really helpful to make sure that you actually do something other than just lie in bed. It can even just be getting up and going for a walk and then making your lunch, and then just a stay-at-home routine, but still a routine. Okay, the final thing on my list is to reach out to friends, which is the one I struggle with the most. All the others you can do on your own, but this one actually relies on other people, which can be really tricky. When your mood is low, it can feel more and more like you don't have anyone, and that the people that you are friends with don't actually like you and don't actually want you around, which is a horrible feeling to have, but it happens, and you know, to the best of us. The problem is when you feel like nobody wants to be around you, you start to distance yourself from them, and in turn they interpret that as you not being interested in their friendships, so they start to distance themselves from you, and then you feel more alone because they aren't even showing signs of wanting to be around you at all. And in my case, and probably lots of other cases, it's that I'm just assuming they think I want to be friends with them and not actually actively showing that. I know if it was the other way around and I was, you know, talking to someone and they weren't really showing any signs of being interested, then I would stop talking to them. For my own self-esteem, if nothing else. I have been trying so hard to put the effort into friendships. Even just saying hello and asking them how their day is going. Just simple things that just show that I actually want to be involved. Because before, I did want to be involved, but I was so scared of them not wanting to be friends with me that I just didn't talk to them. Because that is definitely the way to sort things out. You don't specifically have to talk to your friends about your low mood. You can just have people around you, and that in itself makes things feel a lot better. Making the first move is something that I would normally never consider doing, because if the person wanted to go out for coffee with me, then they would have already asked. But they're probably in the exact same situation as you are, and just a bit too shy and worried that you might say no, and that they've completely misinterpreted the whole relationship that you have. So I have made the first move, me, and invited someone that I didn't even know out for coffee. They said yes, we had a great time, had a lot to talk about, so I would recommend. It's boosted my self-esteem a lot. I'm like, you know what? I am now the person who makes the first move. Like I said already, at this time of year specifically, it can feel like everyone's coming together and celebrating and having a great time and loving each other, and you're just there on the edge, not really involved. And you want to be, but you don't really know how. So having people around you at this time of year, just so you don't feel so alone and to help lift your mood. Normally I'm the one who's saying I'm independent and I don't need anyone, because at the end of the day, all I have is myself. But it's okay to need someone, it's okay to depend on people around you. And it's more than just okay, it's actually nice to have friends. Who'd have thought it? Okay, so those were the 5 things that help me the most when I'm in a bad place, and now that I have an actual physical list, I have no excuses not to follow it. Obviously, everyone's different, so those 5 things may not help you as much as they help me. You may have something else. In fact, if you do have something else that really helps you, then leave it in the comments below, because it will probably help someone else as well. Let's all help each other out and sort of spread the love a bit, because this time of year can be hard for a lot of people, as I have said many times in this video. Okay, that's me done. I'm off to go pack to go home for Christmas. Thank you very much for watching. I hope those little tips helped some of you, and I will see you very soon. Bye.